Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Monet and you are watching Life is Monet. So in this video, I want to talk about some of the books that I am hoping to have completed by the end of this year, and also some of my plans book-wise for the year of 2022. First up, that I'm hoping to read before the year is up, is going to be How Moonforthis Fell in Love with the Universe. Now, I am super excited about this one. We have this character by the name of Moon. Moon's sister is a social media influencer, and she's beloved by everyone. And Moon is kind of, I guess, settled into this idea that she is always supposed to be in the background. It's kind of like the ugly, unwanted sister, and she's just the cameraman for her sister, which everybody loves. Moon takes this job working on a tour bus with other social media influencers, and one of the people that she is kind of forced to be a bunk mate with is this guy named Santiago, and there is this return mutual hate between the two of them, and it is a hate to love romance. But on top of Moon finding a possible romance between her and Santiago through a very forced close proximity relationship, Moon also comes into her own power and her own destiny, and she is learning more about herself and starting to question whether or not she is destined to forever be in the background, living in the shadow of her social media beloved sister. And so I'm excited about this one because I love books that have a full character arc for one of our main characters, and although they're finding love, they're also finding more things about themselves. And so I'm interested in this one. This is the second YA romance that I'm going to try this year. I have not read many, but the first one that I read was Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry, and I really enjoyed that one, and I really enjoyed Quinn's journey, and I'm hoping to enjoy this one just the same. And the next book that I want to read, and this is also a 5-star prediction for me, is going to be The Last Cuesta. I love this freaking cover. This book is utterly beautiful, and even on the under the dust jacket of the book is also very beautiful. This is a middle grade book, and I normally don't read middle grade. It's just not the genre that I ever gravitate towards, but the synopsis of this book and like the cover and like the story that it's trying to tell just really captivated me, and I have to read it. Earth has been obliterated by this comet and completely destroyed, and so a select few people of the human race has been selected to travel to another planet to continue living and like further expand the human race. And so among the scientists and engineers that have been selected to go to this planet, Petra and her family are chosen. So from that point, Petra wakes up hundreds of years later and discovers that she is the only person who actually remembers Earth. And the people behind, I guess, them leaving the planet and searching for another planet have decided to erase the memories of everyone who was aboard the spaceship, to erase the sins of humanity so that they can start fresh and not remember any of the bad things that occurred on Earth, so that they don't carry those same characteristics or decision-making skills. They just thought it was better to wipe the minds of everyone and have them start fresh. But Petra can remember everything about Earth, and so she has this huge weight on her shoulders of being this powerful storyteller and empowering the people with the knowledge of their past, and whether or not she can actually get them to remember and to live again and to start life on this planet, knowing who they are, but also deciding to make better choices at that. This reminds me a little bit of River Solomon book, The Deep, where we have this race of kind of like mermaids or sirens, and no one can remember the past except one person, and one person is responsible for whether or not they tell people the truth or, shoulder the pain alone. And that was a 5-star book for me. I love The Deep. I have reread it twice, and I am excited to read this one, especially from a Latinx point of view, because The Deep was written by a Black author, and so it has a lot of the Black traumas. I love to read a similar story from a Latinx point of view, and I'm really excited for this one. So the next book that I want to read before this year is up is going to be Still Striker, which is the sequel to Sky Hunter by Marie Lu. You guys know that I am such a huge fan of Marie Lu's writing. I read Sky Hunter earlier this year and I had a very fun time with it, and I cannot wait for the wrap up. This is a duology, so this is the end. And are these covers not freaking beautiful? Guys, look at them. Look at them. And then under the dust jacket of these books, this is under the dust jacket for Sky Hunter. And then this is under the dust jacket for Still Striker. These are hands down probably the prettiest books that I have on my shelf to date. And I am so happy that I liked the first book, and I anticipate that I'm really gonna like the second one because they're so beautiful. For those of you guys who didn't get a chance to watch my vlog where I talked about this book, we are following this character named Talon. Talon lives in this world that's set way in the future. If you know Marie Lu, she loves her dystopias. And so the future has been pretty much fractured, and this Federation is taking control over all the different independent countries, and they're all falling subject to the Federation. And where Talon lives is the last free country that has not fallen to the Federation. And although she's a refugee in this country, she takes up arms and she decides to fight in the army in order to stop the Federation from taking over literally the last piece of land left that is free of their control. And so they have this guy who's kind of taken as a prisoner of war, and he is or has been mutilated by the Federation Army into this, I don't know what to call him. He's a sky hunter. He has wings and all these type of powers, and basically he's a regular person that they mutilated and turned into a physical weapon. And so we follow Talon as this guy is forced to become her new partner, and she's not exactly loved because again she's a refugee in this country, so they don't think very highly of her. And her new partner is now a previous prisoner of war, and they're trying to stop the Federation from taking over. And so a lot of things do happen in this book that leaves me very excited and nervous about Still Striker because I need to know what happens next. The next book that I'm hoping to read before the year is up is going to be The Theft of Swords. I plan to start hopping back into my fantasy bag, and when I do start reading fantasy again, it will definitely be this book that I pick up first. This book, we're following two characters. One's name is Royce and the other's name is Hadrian or Hadrian, and they are like mercenaries for hire. They're hired to steal this sword. They go to steal this sword, other things start happening, and they are pretty much blamed or accused of killing the king in this very small kingdom. And so now they're very much wanted men for assassinating a king. But the more that they learn about this conspiracy to set them up, the more they discover that this is about way more than a sword, way more than killing a king. It is actually way bigger than taking over a small kingdom. I've heard really good things about this, and I'm interested in some action. I want to read a fantasy book where we have very snarky main characters that have really no care or honor. So I figure starting here where our main characters are thieves and mercenaries is the perfect place to start, because I'm tired of reading from honorable characters. I want a character that doesn't really care about morals, that's self-serving. And this literally says that they're self-serving on the back. So like, we're going with it. The last book that I want to put on my TBR before the year is up is going to be The New Age of Empire. I want to fit in one more nonfiction before this year is up. I recently read Cast, and this is sort of like a piggyback off of that. Like, I read Cast, I liked some things about it, I disliked some things about it, but it led me to purchasing this one, The New Age of Empire, How Racism and Colonialism Still Rule the World. It is a new release. I believe it just came out, but I'm excited to see how they talk about imperialism and colonialism and how it affects the world, and not just here in the western part of the world, in America, the new age countries. I'm hoping that it's a good one. I know someone who's read it and they said that it was a really good book and they feel like I'll really enjoy it. It's pretty short. So yeah, this is the last nonfic that I am determined to read before the year is up. Now, I am not exactly sure or certain that I'm going to get to all the books in this video, but I kept it small because there are other books that I'm reading and some new releases that I'm anticipating to come out, but I'm trying to read as much as I can before next year, because at the top of next year I'm going to be switching up my book buying habits, and we're going to be narrowing it down and spending a significantly less amount of money throughout next year. My 2022 book buying goals for the year is to only purchase 25 books for the entire year that are not included in my pre-orders. And as of right now, I am only anticipating 4 books that I have already pre-ordered or plan to pre-order by the time 2022 rolls around. So from January to December, if it was not a book that I pre-ordered, I can only purchase 25 for the whole year. And if I break that down, that is 2 books a month, which sounds reasonable to me, and I'm excited about it because I'm hoping that it'll give me a chance to catch up on all of my unread TBR. And I'm getting to the point where like I'm tired of purchasing books and it's just sitting on my shelves collecting dust. So I'm going to be attempting to spend majority of next year catching up on all of the books on my shelves that I need to read that I have not read, and also limiting my book buying because it got out of hand during COVID in 2020, and I did not realize how excessively I was purchasing books in 2020 until I got to 2021, and I could not kind of grab a hold on it the way that I wanted to. And I've been thrifting books lately, and honestly it's bringing me so much joy. And after spending like $3, $4, $5 on books and then going back to the bookstore and the book being like $27, I'm just like, I don't know if we're not gonna keep doing this. I had way more fun thrifting books. So I am excited to be nipping my excessive book buying in the bud for the year of 2022. And I will probably do I'll probably do 3 check-ins throughout the year or 4 check-ins throughout the year to let you guys know how my book buying restriction has been going, because I don't see me hauling an excessive amount of books next year when I can only buy 25 for the whole year. So you'll have to get your book hauls elsewhere. Thanks for coming to my channel. If you made it to the end of this video, leave a sword or a knife in the comment section, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.